If you study history, and if you live a little long, you will understand that betrayal is part of the process and the journey of life. Ham betrayed his father Noah. Noah was the first righteous preacher on the earth. And he had preached righteousness for 120 years. Then after the flood, he got drunk and naked in his tent. Ham, who only survived because of the man that was drunk. He survived because of the righteousness of his father. He had forgotten that he wouldn't been alive to see the righteousness of his father if it wasn't for that same man. And he went to broadcast and to tell the whole world about his father's nakedness. He did that. He became self-righteous. He felt better than his father. That look at the preacher of righteousness. Behold, the preacher of righteousness. Look at him. I'm better than him. It is difficult to be a leader because most times you are surrounded by people, and every now and then when they see your vulnerability, they use it against you. Sometimes as a leader, people will ask me, Papa, how are you? You can't say I'm hurting. You can't say I'm down. You can't say I'm not feeling myself, because as soon as you say that, it will be breaking news front page. Papa is not himself. He's not feeling well. He's hurting. What is hurting? Why? What? They will try to make sense of your pain. So sometimes you have to learn to be tough even when you are hurting, because they don't have to know you are hurting. As soon as they get to know you are hurting, you are finished. You know, Ahithophel said something about David. Very, very powerful. He said to Absalom, give me 12,000 men, choose for me 12,000 men, the best of Israel. And I'll go after your father. And listen to the things he said. He said, I will attack him. Number one, when he's weary. Number two, when he's weak-handed. I will attack when he's weary and weak-handed. Those are moments of vulnerability. And every man, as long as you live, it doesn't matter how full of the Spirit you might be, you face moments of vulnerability. You face moments of weariness when you'll be weak-handed. Then he said, I will attack him. Then I will make him afraid. I will make him afraid. And when he's afraid, I will threaten him. I will threaten his livelihood. I will threaten his future. I will threaten his security. I will threaten his reputation, integrity. I will threaten everything about him. And when he's in that stage of vulnerability, I will threaten him, and all the men around him will run. They will end up leaving him and saying that, you know what? We can't follow this man anymore. He's not in the best of mind, shape. Let's leave him. And he said, as soon as I make him afraid, and the people, his loyalists, and those around him, leaves him, I will strike him, capture him, and kill him with 12,000 men. So sometimes it's difficult to be a leader. It's tough to be a king, because you can't be vulnerable. You cannot be weak. As soon as you show a little bit of vulnerability or weakness, the people around you, if they are not seasoned and mature, they will turn on you and betray you. And that was what happened in the days of Noah. His own son felt like he was better than his father, so he turned on him. The day when you think you are better than your father and your leader, you are in trouble. Tell somebody, as long as you live, as long as you live, never, never, never betray anyone, because it will come back to bite you. It's just a matter of time. It will come back to bite you. Oh, Kudali Salah. Ekanda kasalen kifalan Wasilia atalandu sulund kufulu kafale mesula asalamada kusatas. It will come back to bite you. Yeah. Galatians 6:7. Be not deceived, for God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man sows, that he shall also reap. When will you reap? It wasn't specific, but he said you shall. You shall means before you die, you will reap what you've sown. And realize that whenever you sow, you reap more than you sow. When you put one corn in the ground, at harvest, you reap more than the one corn. So when you sow one evil, you reap more than the one you sow. Many evil will come to you. But it's just a matter of time. And people so forget that because God gives you time, you can always get away. No, you're not getting away. You know, the other day, Miriam and Aaron, Moses' siblings, he was younger. These were his elder brother and sister. They turned on Moses and said, does God speak by Moses alone? Who does Moses think he is? We are better than him by all standards. And Moses didn't hear. But may I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that he that created the ears and the eyes sees in secret and hears all the whisperings of our hearts. Moses didn't hear, but God heard Miriam and Aaron, and the Bible said that God summons a meeting and said, meet me at the camp of the tabernacle. And when they met, Moses had no idea for the reason of the meeting. He had no idea. And God said, let me submit to you. I am Yah. I'm Yahweh. If there is anyone among you that calls himself a prophet, I, the Lord, speak to him through dreams and vision. But with my servant Moses, it's not so. How dare you? Who authorized you? Who gave you the right or the audacity to question his error? At that time, Moses had married an Ethiopian woman, which was against the law. It was against the Levitical law that no one from that particular tribe or race should marry from another country or nation or people. So Moses had erred. And they said, how can he claim he speaks to God face to face? How can he claim to be who he is when he's in violation of the ordinances of God? And they began to question Moses and said, something might even be wrong with God dealing with a man in violation. How can you deal with Moses when he's in violation? And God came to the scene and said, how dare you? I am the Lord. I choose to deal with whoever I please. Who are you to judge another man's servant? Whether he falls or stands, he falls and stands to his own Lord. Who made you a judge over another? Judge not that you may not be judged. And God, anger was rekindled against Aaron and Miriam. And the leprosy came upon Miriam immediately. And God deferred judgment against the first high priest of Israel, Aaron. And the reason was because there was no replacement at that time. If he became a leopard, he couldn't be first, he couldn't be high priest anymore in Israel. God didn't have a replacement because God does not operate in vacuums. So God said, I will defer judgment until the appointed time. And sometimes God can defer judgment to give us time to repent, to give us time to turn around. But that is not a license to continue doing wrong by others or doing wrong by God. That is not a license to continue in sin. Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? No, God forbid. So sometimes God will hold back judgment to give us time to change our mind, to turn around and to do right by him. and by ourselves and others.